Here we are with the team from the film Timbuktu, directed by Abderrahmane Sissako. It's in the official competition for the Golden Palm at the 67th Cannes Film Festival. Thank you all for coming into the studio. Thank you, Toulou Kiki, for coming in to see us, Pino, Ishem, and everyone else. Thank you very much for coming in to talk about this very strong film which has marked the journalists who viewed it last night. Abderrahmane Sissako, how did you get the idea to make this film? It transpires like a shout, a cry out. Is it something you felt deep in your guts? I get the feeling that the desire comes unexpectedly each time. Obviously, you pick your moment in time, which triggers the film, but to sum things up without going too much into detail, I would say that I was inspired by indifference or the state of being not attached to what's going on. People think, oh, it's far from me, it's a long time away, it doesn't affect me, and it's not really mentioned in the press very much. I felt it was very important as an artist, as a filmmaker, and I come from there. So I'm legitimate in that respect. Perhaps all artists are legitimate, but that's your homeland. Mali is where you grew up. I don't like to say it belongs to me. It's not mine. The land belongs to everybody. I would say that we all have a destiny, and destiny makes us come from place A or place B. But films are rare in my country, but it's important to say that we can do it, and I have done it, and I have focused on important subjects. And this film will touch us. I don't come from Mali. This film is universal, and I feel touched by the film because it talks about unhappiness which can happen to anybody. Who knows what can be forbidden to us in life? That's the kind of thing which you're showing with these jihadis who come in and ban all of the elements that make the wealth of life. Yes, indeed, it's really important to underline that. We often think that it's a problem when 2 or 3 people are taken hostage, of course it is, but when a whole population, a city, we're talking about tens of thousands of people, I get the feeling that we feel a little bit more indifferent. And that's a huge shame, because when anyone is suffering somewhere, suffering belongs to us all. So how did you choose the different stories which you've told? Because there are many stories running through the film. We've talked about the couple, there are the jihadis. Oh, well, there were different phases. The first phase was a real fact, an execution, a shepherd, as often happens in between shepherds and farmers, fishermen. It's a human drama which happened. The execution happened too hurriedly. He was killed too quickly. I wanted to put that alongside the notion that in a world living terrible incidents of that sort, alongside that there is beauty, there is humanity. And Africa can't be summed up as a chaos of battle and war. There are men and women who have peaceful lives. Africa is beautiful. Yes, indeed, you have a marvelous couple on the screen. And their child, their little girl who they're raising together. It shows us that love is possible. There's music in the film. The husband of the couple is very musical. And yes, I am a musician in real life. And the man you're playing in this film, is he something similar to yourself? Well, as a musician, everything in this film is based on real facts, things we have lived and experienced. Music was forbidden. My band, for example, was forbidden. We had to go to Algeria, and some musicians, when they go back to our homeland, we've been thrown into prison. Our instruments have been broken, and special measures had to be taken to get them back out of Mali. So these stories are things which we have experienced. They're real-life experiences in that area. Did you collect testimonials, Abderrahman, for your film? Yes, indeed. A film is written at different times. There are different phases. First of all, there was the script, which I dreamt up and co-wrote. And then I had an opportunity to go to Timbuktu and to share people's testimonials, to get immersed in what they were living. I needed to be close to what was going on. And that is when the film really became much richer. There's humor in the film also, a dark humor, but your character is completely out of sync. You play a jihadi who is completely lost. No, I wouldn't say completely lost, but he is slightly humorous. I'd like to come back to what Abderrahman has just said, insofar as, above all, we're talking about universal subjects, because extremism can be found everywhere. In Europe too. It's a danger for everybody, and I think it's a good thing to issue that reminder. Yes, there's a humanitarian aspect, because we're all human beings. Do you not agree? He doesn't. Don't you think he's a bit lost in what's going on? There's the rapper. They all seem a bit lost. Well, I suppose they've lost their way. They were on a track, and now they've gone onto a different track which wasn't theirs. They're just doing what they're told to do now. So yes, I suppose you could say they're a bit lost. That's what you were trying to say, Abderrahman. Well, yes, I think behind each individual there is a destiny. You must take a look at the destiny, and you can move from one path to another very easily. You don't realize it always. Some people have tipped over to another side for one reason or another. We don't always know why, and we choose a side. And there is a context which might be conducive to that. I'm not trying to justify tipping over to one side or another. This is just something which exists. Hichem, in his scene, in one of the scenes, with the young rapper. Yes, Hichem, take the microphone. Let's hear what you have to say. How would you describe this injustice? Because you are talking about football, and you have a strange relationship with France. Yes, how can I put it? To come back to what you were saying, yes, these people are lost. I agree with you, they are lost. We are recruiting lost souls who haven't succeeded in society, who were on the brink, and they are recruited, and they are brainwashed, and there they are. They find themselves out in combat. For my character, I've encountered people like that, but I also have constructed my own character for the purposes of the film. In this country, he has no status. He seems a bit lost. Is recuperated by another party who's saying that France doesn't want you anymore. Come to us, we want you. So this character is in that particular situation, and he finds a reason for living and decides that he will be able to do something important which will make him somebody. Only the person I play has a brain. And when he finds himself in the middle of all this, he sees all the jihadis and realizes that something isn't quite right. And so he's slightly shocked to see that people can't smoke. A woman was stoned because she'd been smoking. And he starts to question what's going on. And has a kind of spark and wakes up and realizes. Before it was simply all words and discussions. Now these are facts. He sees people in the village who are Muslim, like he is, who are nice, living their peaceful life. Then there's the dancer who speaks to him. He used to be a dancer. And then the light goes on in his brain. And he says to her, dance. And then he finds his humanity once again. Yes, in some ways, those youngsters have lost something, lost their humanity. But as Hichem was saying, there is an opposition between the traditional Muslims and the imam in the village and the religious chiefs who come in. Things don't go smoothly at all. I think the film immediately lays out that Islam is the hostage here. It's a religion. It's a faith, and all faiths, all religions are tolerant, full of love. So we see in the film how the image of Islam has been damaged all over the world because of such behavior. But I want to come back to an earlier point. When I was talking about the writing part of the film, then I went out to Timbuktu and met people. A lot of the writing went on during the film. All that the directors, all of the actors could put into the film. I'm not bossy on set. I put people on stage and I give them the situation. But they give the best of themselves. And it was the same for all of my actors and actresses. Toulou, for example, Pinot also, who plays the main role. It was really important. It was a revelation in many ways. So what was it like on set, Toulou? How did you experience this film, the making of this film? Oh, very well, thank you very much. It was nice. I enjoyed making the film. It's my first film. I'm not used to acting. I'm used to being on stage because I'm a singer, but I don't act. I've never acted before. In the film, you've got a lovely voice, you're a mum, you are the wife of Pinot. How did you work together? Did Abderrahman give you some guidelines as to how you would work together? He gave us a few hints, that's all. Before we started a scene, he would give us the atmosphere or the ambiance just to explain the reason for the scene they were about to play out. So I am working with adult people, people who are involved and completely committed to the story. A musician, a singer, a dancer. Amazing choice. I'd just like to add on here about the work, the fact of working with Abderrahman. Abderrahman inspires confidence. He lays out the situation, the atmosphere, the ambience, and then we can only give the best of ourselves because he gives the best of himself to us. It's reciprocal. So that echoes the love that we see in the film. It's the love of our work. Yes, Hichem, you want to come back for a last comment? Yes, I want to talk about this jihadism. It's a very vast term. There's all kinds of elements. There are people who are in a quest. They've been brainwashed, and they really do believe what they're doing. They're not mercenaries, and they're not Muslims either. These are people who are being, on the other hand, there are mercenaries. So there's the jihadists, the Muslims on the one side, and there are the mercenaries on the others. Some people really have been brainwashed and feel and believe in what they're doing. We're just brushing along the surfaces of Islamism here. It's a much vaster subject. So there's all kinds of elements. There are some people on a quest. There are other people who are simple Muslims, who see people like themselves and just don't understand their behavior. How can they do such things? They really are mercenaries. They're not really jihadists, they're mercenaries. I'd just like to underscore what's just been said. I know the area in question. I know what's happened in Mali. This is not, these youngsters are lost. They've got no job. They're looking for a reason to live. They're looking for a light in their life. That's what I would say. And that's what Abderrahmane Sissako has worked on. And that is the principle which I see in this film. Thank you for summing up the interview so beautifully. Thank you very much for coming in to speak to us today. Thank you very much, Abderrahmane Sissako. Well done for your film. Let's take another look at this film, Timbuktu, in competition.